Another deadly truck crash involving an illegal immigrant driver. Police say the 21-year-old Indian national was on drugs, never even touched his brakes before he caused a fiery crash that killed 3 people in Southern California on Tuesday. He was released into the United States during the Biden administration after crossing the southern border illegally. That was back in 2022. Reaction from acting ICE Director Todd Lyons in moments, but first to our William La Jeunesse, who's following the stories live in Los Angeles. That video, William, is nothing short of horrific.
Yeah, he never slowed down. But John, many of these incidents never make national news. Remember the Oklahoma Highway Patrol? They arrested 125 illegal immigrants driving big rigs at a single checkpoint. 85% had a commercial driver's license the feds said they never should have had. Just like this driver, as you mentioned, Jashanpreet Singh, an Indian national arrested Tuesday on 3 counts of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. He's in court later today. The crash happened outside L.A. Singh, on an 18-wheeler, slams into the back of an SUV before plowing into multiple other vehicles in the same lane, then crashing into those 2 trucks on the shoulder.
The driver was transported for injuries to a local hospital, and at the hospital he was arrested for driving under the influence of drugs.
Singh's not alone. A few months ago in Florida, you remember this illegal immigrant with a California CDL killed 3 during an illegal U-turn. Then California also gave a CDL to this semi-driver who killed a motorist in Texas. The trucker only spoke Mandarin. And check out this post last week from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy of a foreign driver headed into oncoming traffic.
You are going the wrong way down the freeway. You are committing a felony right now.
Okay, what I'm doing, sir?
So now listen to the U.S. driver again try to communicate in plain English what to do next.
Turn your hazard lights on for one. Turn your hazard lights on now. Your hazard lights, your blinkers. Your blinkers, turn your hazard lights on. They're on, okay.
So the federal audit found California had issued 62,000 CDLs to drivers who entered illegally, John, or do not have a permanent legal status as required by the feds. California sanctuary laws prohibit asking applicants their immigration status. Governor Newsom said there's not a problem. Back to you.
Did I hear you right? Did you say 62,000?
That's correct.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a federal audit.
William La Jeunesse for us. William, thank you so much. Let's bring in the acting ICE Director, Todd Lyons. I was really taken aback with what William just said, that California gave out 62,000 CDL licenses. What do you make of that?
Well, John, what's even scarier than that is some of those were real IDs, right? So those individuals who aren't supposed to be in the country, anyways, can get on commercial aircraft, can travel. Now they have CDLs where they're transporting hazardous goods. And John, just think about this. That's just California. When you think about all these other sanctuary states that are doing the same thing, there are so many states that are giving these CDL drivers licenses to people that shouldn't be in the country anyways. This individual yesterday, he crossed the border in 2022. Unfortunately, under the last administration and the catch and release policies, Border Patrol had to let him go. And now look, we've had people lose their lives and more people are injured. It's really shocking that more people aren't up in arms about this, because this is totally wrong. These are all preventable accidents, but yet 63,000 illegal aliens have commercial driver's licenses, are on the road transporting God knows what, and can do more damage than anything just like that we saw in the video.
These are called CDLs to non-domiciled individuals. Here's what the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, said about it back on September the 26th. What our team has discovered should disturb and anger every American. Licenses to operate massive 80,000-pound trucks are being issued to dangerous foreign drivers, oftentimes illegally. This is a direct threat to the safety of every family on the road, and I won't stand for it. California must get its act together immediately, or I will not hesitate to pull millions in funding. So we had that incident in Florida earlier this year where 2 people were killed immediately. Another one went to the hospital. When the truck driver, and you're seeing the video of it there on the screen beside you, did a U-turn in the middle of a road. Then we had the incident in Texas with the Chinese driver. People are being killed now in the state of California. It's not Texas. It's not Florida. Why do you think Gavin Newsom is silent about this?
John, it's really sad. It's sad that a lot of elected officials aren't stepping up and realizing there's a problem. and doing what they can to fix it. But what I can tell you is Secretary Noem is working with other state governors. You're going to see a lot more of action with a lot of state police departments and highway patrol with our 287G program. And we have been out of way stations and identifying these individuals and making a lot of arrests. And you're going to see more of those coming. Because under Secretary Noem's leadership, we're going to make sure that the president's mission is achieved, and that's making America safe. And one of the key things is our highways. And this is one thing we have to. And it's really sad that Governor Newsom doesn't want to take accountability for this, but he has to take some accountability and look at his DMV and see who they're actually giving these licenses to. Because a truck like that is a deadly weapon, and we're seeing more and more of these incidents. And it's not just in California. It seems that every state is turning into a border state because these individuals have these driver's licenses, and they're all over the United States, and we have to make sure we get them off the roads.
You know, we're watching the dash cam video of this accident. The aftermath video is just as, if not more, horrific, because you can see as the truck veers to the right after smashing into the back of the semi ahead of it, there's a flash of flame. That is the first car it hit exploding into flames. The video afterwards is just absolutely chilling. What does ICE want to do with this driver, if anything? Are you going to let him go through the criminal justice system, or will you seek to get him out of the country?
Well, first, we always want to make sure we get justice for those victims, right? But the main thing we want to do is we've issued a detainer on this individual. We hope that the county works with us. We're going to ensure that we take that individual into custody. But we want to keep track of him. We don't want to give him to a sanctuary jurisdiction who just release him on bond and then we'll never find him again. And then he'll wind up in another state with a different name or no name on some of the driver's licenses and have another CDL. But we're going to make sure that we take possession of the individual, and if he does go through the criminal justice system, we'll follow him every step of the way. But if not, we're going to get him out of the country.
All right, Todd Lyons, the acting ICE director, thanks for being with us.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.